Manga readers saying that everyone should read manga instead of watching anime is nothing new. It's been happening since the dawn of time. But why? Why would anyone read boring words with black and white drawings instead of watching smooth animations with high quality voice acting?
Hello everyone!
It seems like a downgrade to me.
Why are we still here?
And no, these are not fan-made clips, these are animations made by real studios. At least I think they are. For some strange reason, the standard quality of animation is worse than it was years ago. I wonder why. Okay, this is not important, because it's obvious that in the argument of bad animations versus manga, manga always wins. It's a no-brainer. Artists will always put in more effort than money-hungry studios. But how about good animations versus manga? Are you actually missing out by skipping the anime, or is manga just the superior medium? It's a little tricky here. We have to consider both sides of the story. In my opinion, the biggest advantage of manga is that you get to read at your own pace. It's a customizable experience where you spend more time on the panels you find interesting and move on quickly at the ones you don't.
What the fuck is this?
For example, this would have been a panel I would look at for a fraction of a second, but here I'm forced to look at it for... I know the few extra seconds doesn't seem like much, but over time those little seconds add up, and this is what makes some episodes feel like a filler in disguise. So manga is better if you have no patience for stupid downtime. Another advantage of manga is that you're getting the story straight from the source, in its purest form, with very little adjustments or pushback from management. And while this is almost always a huge advantage, sometimes things are better at the hand of the less competent.
Think of a big black man chasing you!
So it's an advantage with a tiny asterisk. And the final reason to choose manga over anime is the unique stories that no one seems to know how to animate. Those stories that are better in the page world. Well, who would have guessed that these mangakas are actually talented people? They can turn a few drawings and words on paper into a magical experience and convey most of what animation can do without the actual animations. And I said most of because the exception of really confusing and convoluted fights. The only way of actually understanding them is by watching YouTube videos explaining them, as the anime is always behind by like a year, which is also an advantage now that I think about it. You can wait and watch the fight scenes when they come out, but generally I don't feel like I missed out on anything, unless there is godly animations. It sounds like manga is the clear winner, right? Well... One of the biggest downsides of manga is focus. What do I mean by focus? Well, reading makes you focus. And in this day and age, this focus thing doesn't come by easily. This by itself is not a problem, because there isn't much writing in a chapter, normally.
What the hell is this?
But it does make it less bingeable in my experience, and again, this by itself is not the problem. The problem is that most of Japanese entertainment is, let's just say, weird. So it's not really worth our precious fleeting focus. For me, I would save manga for special stories by artists I like or ones that seem interesting, and just watch the rest. Otherwise, I wouldn't consume as much as if it was anime. Maybe that's a good thing actually. Also, there are some cases where studios actually put in the work and make an exceptional piece of media from start to finish, with a lot of attention to details. It's rare, but there are few of those, and in this instance, you are missing out by reading the manga. And another big, actually huge downside of manga is that you kinda miss out on the big moments that stick in pop culture.
Just watch me, L. I'll solve equations with my right hand and write names with my left. I'll take a potato chip and eat it.
And you also miss amazing performances done by talented voice actors.
あとは頼みます。
これで邪魔者は全て消えた。他の者は僕を信じきっている。警察を支配するのも時間の問題だ。どうだ、エル。完全に僕の勝ちだ。僕の勝ちだ。
So to answer the question of should you read manga instead of watching anime, it depends on you. If these advantages seem way too good for you that you can easily overlook the disadvantages, then go for it. Also, for the people who like to read, manga is the winner. But for most of us with arguably a slight case of brain damage from short form content, it's not really sustainable. Honestly, for me, when both mediums are good, I'd rather watch anime. As a wise man once said,
I ain't reading all that.
but I keep the manga close, in case the anime suddenly drops in quality, or switch between mediums when I get bored.